a celebrated comic actor who co produced the documentary Laughing Matters about comedians and mental health issues. Rainn Wilson is here with us now. Tell me a little bit about what made you want to be a part of Stronger Than You Think.
Well, this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. As I have done some digging into this issue, both personally and with my company, Soul Pancake, realized what an epidemic of mental health we have going on in the country right now. And it's devastated countless families and countless young lives. As you very well know, the rates of anxiety, depression, loneliness, suicidal ideation are skyrocketing and through the roof. And so this media company that I co-founded, Soul Pancake, we've done a lot on this topic. I've written about it a little bit, and some books that I've worked on that I've written. And it's I think mental health and climate change are like the two big topics of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Tell me a little bit more about you've been in entertainment for a long time, and you've seen things change, and you've been a part of culture changing. How has the conversation around mental health changed for better or for worse, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's changed for much, much better, and we have a long ways to go. And that is that when someone felt depressed when I was a kid or even a young adult, in the 80s or 90s, it was kind of like, well, this will pass. You're just feeling low. You'll turn things around. And the concept of depression as a mental illness was not really dealt with. The concept that anxiety could be part of, mental illness as well, was not really looked at. So nowadays, much more, at least in the show business world, there is an understanding that these issues are deep, they're chemical, and they're neurological, and they're sociological, and they're trauma-based, and there's a much deeper understanding of mental health issues. We've got a long ways to go to educate people, and I love what you guys are doing and what this whole program is, and what NAMI does, because the number one aspect of the mental health epidemic is that when people are in their mental health issue, they feel alone. They feel like no one else has ever gone through what they're going through. They feel like no one could possibly understand what it is that they're feeling. And so it's super important for people to speak out and share their stories and connect around it, so people know that there's ways to get help. Other people have been where you are. There's a way out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if there was one message you would like to send to anyone watching right now, a teen, a young adult, an older person who may be struggling with mental health issues, what would you want to tell them?
I would tell them that there are tools that can be used to combat mental health issues. There are concrete, scientifically proven tools. The problem is you never feel like doing them when you're in the midst of it. But if you can just start incrementally, a tiny, tiny amount, like, for instance, meditation or gratitude. There's been countless studies on the efficacy of those two psychological, spiritual, emotional tools. You never feel like meditating or being grateful when you're in the midst of a panic attack or when you're in the midst of a bout of depression. But at the same time, a really simple, like a 1 minute meditation and just typing into your phone 3 things that you're grateful for, like that can just make that 5% difference that can start to kind of right the ship a little bit. And as you do a little more meditation, a little more gratitude, it can help even more. And these tools can help bring you out of your situation.
I think it's so great that you're talking about tools because there's a proactive idea there that, our mental health is in our hands. How did you discover these tools for yourself? Did you start meditating or going to classes? What was your journey for your own mental health like?
So I suffered from a lot of mental health issues when I was in my 20s. And this was the 90s, and people weren't really talking about this stuff. I had several years of panic attacks, anxiety attacks, pretty intense depression, addiction issues across the board. And so during that time, I just kind of got through it and pulled myself through it, white knuckled it, as they said, until I was able to kind of get some therapy in the early 2000s. And that really helped me. But it's been a long process. I'm in my 50s, and, I talk a good game about meditation to young people, but I didn't really start doing meditation until I was like in my late 40s. So, but for me, it has been a journey of self-discovery. Therapy has been incredibly helpful to me. Reading books on positive psychology, practicing daily gratitude and meditation, connecting with others, group therapy, journaling. There's been a lot of tools that I've added to my tool belt over my life that have made my life significantly better.
What would you say about your support system, or finding like-minded folks, and how do you find support in your community?
Well, so my faith is very important to me. I'm a member of the Baha'i faith, and my faith community is incredibly important to me. And that's one place that I connect and bond with people, reach out to people. I believe in the power of prayer, going hand in hand with meditation. That's super important. And I've been in group therapy and 12-step recovery groups, and all of those. But even just dear friends, and I will say, with my wife and I have been together for a very long time, but it's really only been recently that I started sharing stuff in a really intimate way, like that's deep in my heart. My most vulnerable fears, kind of quote unquote unreasonable emotions, angers, resentments, etc. So just unburdening yourself of what's in your heart is incredibly powerful. And I wish I had these tools when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, it's so great that you're here today to help people in their 20s. You talked about, sort of made me think of destigmatizing, and how when we have conversations about things, often that can help alleviate some of the burden. How do
hmm
you feel we can better destigmatize some of these issues? What are some ways we can do that as a community?
Well, one of the things that I did, and I'm really not here to plug any show or anything like that, but at Soul Pancake, we produced a documentary called Laughing Matters that was about anxiety and depression and loneliness in the world of comedians and stand-up comics. And Sarah Silverman is in it, and a lot of other well-known comics and performers. And it's really helped to show that, the link between comedy and mental illness, is obviously, with Robin Williams, so many others, addiction and comedy go hand in hand, to really explore that issue. But it's also really entertaining, and it allows you to kind of laugh with people and their stories. And that laughter can be very healing. If you can laugh at something, with something gently, then you can have kind of greater acceptance in your heart toward it. So that little documentary film, it's like 17 minutes long or 20 minutes long or something like that, created a really nice community, and was a really helpful thing. So we would like to do more work like that around mental health, to look at different facets of it and create more positive media.
Well, thank you so much, Rain, for your time. It's been wonderful having you.
Great. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on your show. This is fantastic what you guys are doing. I'm sure it must be incredibly challenging. Keep going. Show us your fortitude and determination. People need this message. Thank you so much.
Thank you.